I got a great question recently from one of my subscribers who had 3 years of B2C closing experience, but then broke into tech sales as an SDR, and he's crushed it in his first 10 months as an SDR, blowing out his numbers, but only 10% of account executives are hitting their quotas at his current company, and he doesn't see the upside. He doesn't want to become an account executive at his current company. He wants to apply to external account executive positions. And that means that he's going to apply to account executive positions at other companies other than his own. His question is, how do I go about that process to best position myself to apply to external account executive positions? And in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how to do that. So first off, I need to share some tough love. You could have avoided this situation altogether of being at a company where only 10% of AEs are hitting their numbers and you see no upside if you did a greater job vetting out the company in the first place. When you're applying to companies in tech sales and trying to break in for the first time, you need to go in with your eyes wide open and be picky because you deserve the best. And you need to forecast in the future and think long term and think, it's not just about breaking in as an SDR, but joining a company where I know I'm going to have a high probability of success and getting to the account executive role within a year. And not only that, being able to hit my number and actually cash in big commission checks to guarantee you join the six-figure earners club. What this individual could have done is looked at data sources like RepView to see what percentage of account executives were hitting their quota. Or they could look at reviews on Glassdoor to see if any account executives were having bad experiences. And most importantly, in the interview process, they could have set up a networking conversation with an actual account executive at the company to ask them how they were doing, what the sales culture was like, and what percentage of reps were hitting their numbers. And finally, in the interviews themselves, they could have asked the hiring manager what percentage of reps are hitting quota. And if the hiring manager didn't share this information, that would be a red flag to slow down and really reconsider taking the opportunity, even if you got it. Long story short, when you're applying to a company, whether you're breaking into tech sales for the first time or transitioning to a new company, you want to not just play checkers where you're thinking about the immediate move, but play chess where you have multi-step thinking and consider, how is this transition going to set me up for the next 3 to 5 years? All right, so tough love aside, how can this SDR who doesn't have account executive experience in B2B sales, I'm not going to count the B2C sales experience where they closed because that really isn't transferable because the B2B motion is a different motion than B2C. How can they best position themselves to stand out and land a job at an external company when they're competing with people that actually do have closing experience? First off, we need to manage expectations. This is not easy to do, and the odds are stacked against you. Not only are you competing with account executives that already have closing experience in B2B sales, but you also have to address the objections that the hiring manager is going to have that you lack closing experience. You haven't ran full sales cycles in B2B sales, and they're probably worried that they're going to have to handhold you and shepherd you along, which they don't really have time for. They want someone who can come in and hit the ground running and that can be resourceful and figure things out on their own. So knowing that this is going to be a challenge, it's going to be an uphill battle, here's exactly what to do. First off, you need to find a new opportunity vehicle or company where they are a leader in their market, where they have differentiation, they have product recognitions from G2, and you see great reviews, and where you know that the majority of account executives are hitting their numbers. And hopefully you can find some of that data online. But you have no excuse. You need to network with account executives, at least one who can be your champion at that company, to ask them if reps are hitting their quota. What's the morale? And ultimately, you need to have them refer you in to the role. For any worthwhile company, they're going to have a lot of applications coming in. And you can't just count on blindly applying the role, especially given you don't have closing experience, and expect to get a phone screening with a recruiter or any type of interview. You need to find an account executive who you connect with in a conversation, you earn their respect, show them that you're reaching out with intention and that you really want to be there and you're ready to hit the ground running. Ask them about what it takes to succeed in the role, ask them about the interview process and the hiring manager, and have the job rec ready for them to refer you, leveraging the fact that they probably get a nice little payday in the form of a signing bonus if they refer you. Now, I have to throw in one other thought on choosing the right opportunity vehicle or company to apply to. If you want to give yourself a better shot of landing interviews for an AE role when you don't have closing experience, consider applying to a company that's selling a solution in the same market as what you were selling before. So if previously you were selling some type of sales software, apply to another company in the sales tech space. Maybe you were selling a CRM and you go for another CRM company. Or if you were selling cybersecurity as an SDR, maybe consider going for another cybersecurity company. One of my students that I worked with was selling at a data analytics company, and they got to a point as an SDR where they crushed it. They were number one, but they didn't see the upside as an account executive. So they pivoted and they applied to a company that was a consulting company, a cloud services company that focused on implementing data analytics solutions. You can see how the domain expertise and the product knowledge that he had already cultivated and the experience he had selling a data analytics solution would transfer to being an account executive selling at a data analytics consultancy implementing that type of technology. In that case, it wouldn't be as much of a large leap to make a transfer like that, where he wouldn't be starting from scratch in terms of his industry and product knowledge and his knowledge around the sales process. Now, in that case, if he went from selling data analytics to something random like cybersecurity or selling a CRM to the logistics industry, that just wouldn't make sense. And he probably wouldn't stand a chance, especially when going from SDR without closing experience to an account executive role. It would be just too large of a leap, and it'd be too risky for a hiring manager to make that type of bet. So a key theme is to leverage your past experience and consider opportunities where your past experience is highly transferable. And another example of leveraging your past experience is if you were a teacher in a past life, you could apply to an account executive role at an ed tech where you're selling a solution to school systems where teachers are using the product. You would have a lot of empathy for the end users of the technology and the school system, and you would be set up to hit the ground running as an account executive. Or maybe you were an entrepreneur in a past life and you use Shopify to run your business. Then you might be well equipped to apply to an account executive role at Shopify because you used the product before and you have an empathy for the entrepreneurs that you'd be selling to. So now imagine you identified a great company with a great upside, where account executives are hitting their numbers, and where your past experience is transferable. Now you have to interview with surgical precision to stand out in a competitive market. You've got to give hiring managers complete confidence that you're going to be able to come in and hit the ground running, and they don't have to babysit you and make decisions for you and run deals for you. Fundamentally, like in any other tech sales interviews, you need to show up like a professional who's prepared with intention. You're very clear on why you want to be there. You have a really strong reason for why you want to work at that company, and you have a clear picture of how that opportunity fits into your 1, 2, 3 to 5 year vision. You're going to want to show up with a personal touch, showing you did homework on the individual interviewing you and the hiring manager. You're going to want to come with great research-based questions that show your acumen and also help you understand more about what the hiring manager is looking for, so you can tailor how you sell yourself and what it takes to succeed in the role to show that you do have those qualities that it takes to succeed. If you're looking for more inspiration on how to ask brilliant, research-based questions that showcase your curiosity, which hiring managers are looking for, and that show you're a high-caliber candidate, then check out the video that I made on the topic. You're also going to want to have prepared crisp, concise, and compelling answers structured in the S.T.A.R methodology for common behavioral and role-related interview questions that you'll get for an account executive role. If you need some inspiration for that, then check out the video I did on the topic with 28 interview questions from an actual SVP of sales who has led teams at HP and VMware, which are some of the best big enterprise tech companies out there. Check out those questions, write out your answers in bullets in the S.T.A.R framework: situation, task, action, and result, and focus on getting to the point quickly with situation and task, and emphasizing the actions that you took and that you owned yourself and the results you produced, making sure they're dollarized, highlighting the revenue you drove, cost savings you delivered, quantities, percentage attainment versus your goals, and how you stack ranked against your peers. Of course, you'll want to be ready to answer those common behavioral and role-related interview questions with confidence, but one of the biggest things you can do in order to rock these interviews and give yourself a chance to land an AE role without SDR experience is prepare for the objection that you're going to get. Hey, you lack closing experience. How can I expect you to come in and run deals and close deals? So how do you address the objection? Well, this is exactly how I did it when I got promoted from SDR to AE when I was at Oracle. Now, in my case, I didn't go from SDR at Oracle to AE at an external company, but the principles apply. What I did, because I didn't have closing experience, is I borrowed the stories of the account executives I worked with. I set up time with them, and I asked them about the deals that I sourced that closed, and I said, walk me through the whole sales cycle. I'm going to take notes. I asked them about discovery calls and how they handled them, demos. I asked them about objections they received in the sales process and times when the deal stalled and roadblocks they had to overcome. I asked them about negotiations and how they handled that and the back-end contractual processes and the systems they worked with to generate quotes. And at the end of the day, I was able to take thorough notes on those stories and own them as if they were my stories. And when I got to the hiring manager, I told him, I said, I have not closed a deal myself, but I talked to Jim, who closed a deal that I sourced. He walked me through the whole deal, and I can walk you through every step of the deal myself, whether it was initial discovery and demos and technical scoping, dealing with objections and blockers along the deal cycle, and even the back-end contractual processes. I'm happy to walk you through that every step to instill confidence that I have what it takes to close deals and I'm ready to hit the ground running. That is the key to address the objection that you lack closing experience. But here's the only difference when applying to an AE role at an external company that's not your current company. You're going to want to set up time with account executives, as I mentioned before, that could refer you to the role, but then ask them to walk you through one of their deal cycles and take notes and steal it as your own. So the only thing that's going to change is saying that I talked to Jake on your team, or Jake who's an account executive at XYZ company, at your company, and he walked me through a whole deal cycle, and I actually could walk you through it myself as if I had closed it. And I want to show you that I'm making an effort to understand your sales process and that I'm going to be able to hit the ground running. Now, given you're going for an AE role, a stretch role where you don't have the experience, you're going to want to do everything you can to go above and beyond, to do things that other candidates aren't doing to give yourself the best shot of wowing that hiring manager and standing out. How do you go above and beyond and do a little bit more than other candidates? You're going to want to put together a 30, 60, 90-day plan. What are you going to do in the first 30 days, the first 60 days, and the first 90 days in the role to hit the ground running? Maybe you talk about educating yourself on the solution and developing your pitch that's focused on telling customer case study testimonials, telling stories that highlight relevant business challenges and outcomes. Maybe you talk about finding an AE who can be a mentor, where you can model after their success, their pitch, how they approach prospecting, and how they progress deals through the sales cycle. Maybe you can highlight building strong relationships with your manager and other peers. You can highlight hitting the ground running with prospecting and understanding your current book of business. What you can do is put something together and leverage Canva or maybe Microsoft PowerPoint, and then take that to your champion at the company and get their feedback on how you can adapt it to the context of what they know about what it takes to actually succeed and the reality of selling at that specific company. Additionally, you might want to put together a mock cold call script, a video pitch, again, highlighting customer case studies and focusing on business problems and outcomes produced. And that will really show the hiring manager that you are committed to success and you're ready to hit the ground running, and you'll do whatever it takes. You'll want to share your 30, 60, 90-day plan or maybe your video pitch with the recruiter or with the hiring manager directly during your interview process, maybe heading into the first interview with them or in a second round, and just say, hey, I know this isn't perfect, but I want to show you that I am hungry to earn this opportunity, and I would love feedback on how to make it better. And finally, you better believe that every stage of your interview process, you're going to need to close on next steps to show them that you are a closer. You might say something like, Tim, I really enjoyed this conversation, and it only reinforced that I want to be here for XYZ reasons. And I know I'm going to be a great fit for the role because you said you're looking for this, and I have those qualities. I have that skill set. If you can't tell, I'm ready to get going, and I'm curious, what are the logical next steps? What more can I do to earn this opportunity? And now one other thing you might want to do is ask if they have any reservations. And they might, but you want to get those out on the table so that you can address those objections if they have them. If they give you an objection, probe a little bit more into where it's coming from and if it's based on past experience, and then re-emphasize that you are hungry to learn, that you are very coachable, and that you are confident you will become a top performer in a short amount of time. Honestly, you just got to own it. You got to show you're confident, and that can go a long way. Now, when all is said and done, you might do everything I told you in this video and executed it flawlessly, but still come up a little bit short because you're competing with other sellers who have closing experience. If that's the case, have some self-compassion. And I have one final thought. Consider applying to an SDR role at a company that's much better than your own, that has a bigger financial upside, where AEs are hitting their numbers. In that case, you can transfer to another SDR role at a better company, which I consider an upgrade, especially because you'll probably be making more money in that role as it is. And then you'll have a quick path to get promoted at a better company where more AEs are hitting their number and you're more likely to cash in on commission. Now imagine transferring to an SDR role at AWS, one of the greatest tech companies in the world, where you're going to be surrounded by amazing people that are going to make you better, that are future entrepreneurs in the making, and where you're going to get an education in their leadership principles that's going to make you a better business person. That's like getting your MBA. And not to mention, in an SDR role at AWS, which they call a demand gen role, you're going to make $150,000 potentially with your signing bonus, your base salary, your bonus variable if you hit your numbers, and RSUs or equity. Imagine you're also going to get Amazon stock that's only going to go up over time. That is a major upgrade if you're an SDR at another company where only 10% of account executives are hitting their numbers. At AWS, there are inside sellers, not even field sellers, making $500,000. And many sellers that are at least making $300,000 on target earnings as an account executive. So what an upside you just tapped into. And remember, we talked about multi-step thinking and thinking about the opportunity that sets you up over the next 3 to 5 years. That is much better than landing an AE role at a company where not many people are hitting their numbers, or there just isn't as much of a financial upside in general. I will never forget my good buddy that was with me at Oracle on my SDR team. And we both got promoted to closing roles as inside sellers, but then he did something extraordinary, and he humbled himself, and he applied to an SDR role at AWS. He knew that AWS was a life-changing opportunity, so he was willing to demote himself by going for an SDR or demand generation role at AWS when he already had closing experience and had succeeded in a closing role, and not to mention at Oracle, which is a good company. Well, he put his ego aside and he went for that demand gen role at AWS. He got it, he broke in, and then he crushed it over 6 years, becoming an account executive after 1 year and hitting his quota every year, making deep six figures. This past year, he made $400,000, and he has a lot of equity that is only growing over time. Talk about an amazing story that emphasizes the importance of working at the right company, which is the biggest factor that will determine your long-term success in tech sales. All right, guys, that's all I have for you. I hope you found this video helpful and informative. And if you did, hit the like button, share this video with others who could benefit from the message, and make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for more videos like these committed to helping you succeed in tech sales and get the most out of this career path. Now, if you guys have specific questions for me where you feel like there's not any videos out there on YouTube addressing the specific topic, then please share them with me in the comments or reach out to me, and I'd love to make videos on those topics. I want to continue to be better at making content on the topics that you guys actually care about. And if you're someone who's serious about breaking into tech sales for the first time to launch your six-figure tech sales career, or if you're someone who wants to get promoted from SDR to account executive, then check out my collection of courses, Tech Sales Accelerator, linked in the description of this video. And if you want to learn more about Tech Sales Accelerator, feel free to book time with me at my Calendly link, linked in the description of this video. I'm happy to connect with you directly to learn more about your vision and share how Tech Sales Accelerator might be able to empower it. Thanks for showing up today and being a part of this growing community. I'm really excited about where we're heading, and respect to you for investing in your personal and professional development and your tech sales dreams. To your success in tech sales and in life, happy selling and happy living, and we'll see you in the next one.